What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'll be bringing you a brand new reaction video. Today's reaction is going to be something a little bit different. Now, I saw this video pop up on my feed and I thought it made perfect sense. I've got Australian fans, I've got American fans, and this video is Australia versus United States. Who would win military comparison? So let's check out, guys. I'm going to stay neutral this entire time because I have got an American fan base and I have got Australian. I don't want to piss anyone off, but let's see what the video says because hopefully it's okay. Subscribe if you're new, by the way. Let's try and hit 30 to 40 likes on this video, guys.
This time we are featuring two fairly new countries, nations that at one point in time were colonies of the United Kingdom.
Yep, and now they're just absolutely mega compared to us.
The USA gained its independence on July 4th, 1776.
Independence Day, yep.
Its independence on January 1st, 1901, when the Brits passed legislation to give the 6 Australian colonies the right to govern themselves under the Commonwealth of Australia.
Fair play. Nice way to do it as well. January 1st. Start of a new year.
Unlike the USA, the country sometimes called Down Under has not vied for world dominance, although it has enjoyed a fairly good standard of living and economic prosperity. The countries are certainly not enemies unless you play Grand Theft Auto, which pits them head to head.
Yeah, I'd definitely say they're not enemies.
How would they fare against each other if that were a reality? That's what we're going to find out today. In this
Let's see what we got. Let me know in the comments who you're backing.
The United States. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so that you can be part of our notification squad.
I will say, again, I'm not taking sides. My initial inkling would be the United States on this one, but I know nothing about the Australian military, so I could be completely wrong. The only reason I say the United States military is just because I know they've got a shitload and a shitload of personnel, and obviously they've got quite a lot of advanced stuff. Again, I know nothing about the Australian one, so maybe I'm proved wrong in this video. Again, not taking sides.
Let's start with Australia. At around 2,969,907 square miles, the country is the 6th largest in the world.
Yeah, absolutely huge.
As many of Australia's population live close to the coast on different sides of the country.
Yeah, it's mental about a lot of your countries just like the outback, just huge, vast wastelands.
If you look at population density maps, you will see just how much of Australia's 24,659,200 people are huddled into small chunks of the country. Australia's indigenous Aboriginal people may have lived in the harsh environment of Central Oz, but for most Australians, much of their huge country is a no man's land. Australia's nominal GDP for 2016 was $1.257 trillion, making it the 13th largest GDP in the world, just above Spain and just below Russia.
Doesn't mean too much to me, that.
is $49,927. Now, let's turn to some USA basics. The USA is also a very large country, at 3,797,000.
So it's a bit bigger, not too much.
It's way more crowded than Australia. This
way
makes it
more
the
crowded.
largest country behind Canada and Russia, although it is very similar in size to China. It has a population of 325,365,000.
Yeah, it just goes to show, doesn't it, that obviously Australia is not crowded, and you look at the population differences. Not too much of a difference in size. Yeah, I know it's 800,000, but if 800,000 in the grand scheme of things when you're looking at 3.7 and 2.9 isn't too much. But when you look at the population, it's such a massive difference. Because yeah, Australia just has a massive outback, don't they?
The US GDP is $19.417 trillion and $57,466.
Don't really know the money comparison too much, just because I don't really know how your economies work and how good they are in each place.
The biggest economy, but many experts now say this is China. The International Monetary Fund, CIA Factbook, and World Bank all say China is number 1. An interesting article recently published by Global explains that various countries around the world have a different opinion on who has the biggest GDP, with slightly more countries believing the USA is still the larger economy.
Oh, okay.
One thing we know for sure is that the USA spends a lot more on its military than any other country in the world.
And this is why I assume the United States will be put as winning in this, just because they spend shitloads on it. But they've also got a lot more personnel, and yeah, that's the reason I personally think.
And by a country mile too. Its military is regarded as the strongest in the world, and it probably should be, with a $611 billion defense budget,
mental.
Which is about
that is ridiculous.
3.3% of the GDP. That was for 2016, and sometimes the figure is stated as slightly less. For
that is absolutely mental.
Donald Trump's budget for defense is around $587 billion, which is by far the biggest chunk of the USA's discretionary budget. More than a third of that goes to operations and maintenance, with just less than a quarter on military personnel. The most expensive program at the moment are those rather pricey F-35 Joint Strike Fighters.
They seem pretty cool then, though, don't they? They may be pricey, but they seem pretty cool.
The budget for those alone was $11.6
mental. How can you just spend that much cash on someone like that? That is absolutely mental. If you've got the money, you got the money at the end of the day.
The Environmental Protection Agency is allocated just $7.65 billion for 2017.
Oh, wow.
Australia doesn't spend much by comparison, but is still 12th on the list of the biggest defense spenders in the world.
Okay.
Some sources put Brazil ahead and some behind. For 2017, it will spend 24.1 billion US dollars, according to the Australian government.
I mean, that's still a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but if you compare, it's absolutely nothing, is it? Like, you're talking about peanuts here compared to what America's spending, which is mental.
Going to spend big over the next decade, with some military media stating that the country intends to become a lethal military force. The Ministry of Defense said recently that it has a commitment to security and stability around the globe, as relations between various countries seem tenuous at the moment. Much of the money spent will go to the Navy, which is not surprising given the country's geographical location. It has also joined in the...
Yeah, that makes sense. The main place people can get to is through the Navy. You can probably shoot down fucking bombers or anything if need be, if they did bomb you or something like that. So that makes sense. And yeah, I mean, at the moment, everything is a bit up in arms, isn't it, with America and stuff like that. There is a lot of tensions flying about, let's just say that. So I can understand why you'd want to invest in it now if you're going to ever invest.
The spending frenzy on the aforementioned F-35 Joint Strike Fighters. What do these two countries get for their money? In terms of feet on the ground, out of the USA's 325 million people, 1.3 million are active military personnel.
That is a lot of active.
11,000 act as reserve personnel.
You're talking about 2 million.
Australia's 61,000.
Oh, wow. Wow, I mean, is it really a debate, this? I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot more what comes to it than numbers, power and stuff like that. There's obviously a lot of strategy and stuff like that, if potentially there was a war or anything. But surely the sheer amount, they just get overwhelmed, surely.
1,000 reserves. Not surprisingly, the USA also has a lot more land equipment. In total, it has 5,884 tanks, 41,000 armored fighting vehicles, 1,934 self-propelled guns, 1,299 towed artillery, and 1,331 multiple launch rockets.
Do you think they got enough weapons just on land, do you think? I don't know, I'm not too sure. Mac could be able to do with a couple more thousand, don't you think? Bloody hell.
China and easily Russia outgun the USA when it comes to tank strength. This also includes some of the most fierce land equipment ever, consisting of the mighty M1 Abrams tank, the world's best
absolute beast of tanks,
the M109A6 Paladin self-propelled gun, and the tried and tested TOW anti-tank missile. Australia has just 59 tanks, 2,040 armored fighting vehicles.
It's just not fair, is it? I mean, obviously there's reasons for this, complete reasons, but it's just not a fair comparison. I don't even know why this video exists, to be honest with you. Unless there's going to be a massive U-turn at the end, I don't get the comparison.
0 self-propelled artillery, 75 towed artillery, and 0 multiple launch rocket systems. It does have some good tanks, though.
So it's close. You know, there's not much of a difference there.
But they have been replaced with M1 Abrams, just in much smaller quality than that of the USA. Where the United States exceeds every country on the planet is with its Air Force. As you know, the US is not shy on spending big here, and it is almost
not shy on spending big anywhere.
13,444 aircrafts in total, many of which are the best ever made. This includes scores of
mental.
F-22A Raptors,
Too many, guys. Wow.
Falcons,
if you're American, it's not too many. If you're any other country, look at us Britons, we've got a good relationship, and it sounds like Australia and the United States have a good relationship. I don't really know the relationship too much, but the problem is what we're saying at the start, they've got no hatred towards each other at all. So that's always good, because it looks like it's a one-way battle at the moment. And luckily, again, for us Britons, we ain't got any beef for you guys. Let's stay on the same side.
F-15E Strike Eagles and the expensive F-35A Lightning II.
The expensive, all expensive.
Of the McDonnell Douglas CF-18 Hornets, some of which have been converted to FA-18E Super Hornets.
Not gonna lie, don't know half them planes, but I imagine they're absolutely mental.
News emerged in September, and that was that its 2 brand new F-35s have a major problem. They don't work, according to Australian media.
Wow.
The USA has also had its fair share of problems trying to get these things combat ready.
That's brutal as well, because what were they saying? America was buying them ones for about 10 billion, was it? Australia obviously not putting as much money into theirs, but when they finally buy one of these things, it don't work. That is absolutely brutal. A lot of money down the drain.
Require many millions being sunk into reconstruction and upgrade before they are
That's
fully
ridiculous.
capable of fighting on the front line. The country has a total of 465 aircraft, just over 150.
Again, you know, obviously 13,400, very close. You know, not different, not much difference at all. You know, in a fair fight, 50-50, they're just going straight at each other. I don't know who'd come out winning. You know, that's all I'm saying. I'm staying neutral, guys.
Attack aircraft. It also has a small fleet of FA-18F Super Hornets and FA-18A and B Hornets, as well as EA-18G Growlers. As for the Navy, global firepower puts the USA as the third strongest behind China and North Korea. This is only in size though.
So
Puts
literally just
Australia
got
down in
loads.
fourth place. In total, the USA has 415 ships and Australia has 47 ships. The US has
Mental.
a total of 11 aircraft carriers, 22 cruisers, 67 destroyers,
Yeah, 67
frigates,
destroyers, wow.
75 submarines, 0 corvettes, 9 amphibious assault ships, 11 mine warfare ships, and 55 patrol ships.
As you
We
do,
also
as you
have to
do.
take into account what all wealthy countries want, and that's a huge super carrier. America may
Yeah.
have the best in the Gerald R. Ford class super carrier. Australia is also one of few nations to own aircraft carriers. While they might not be the behemoths of the US Navy, the almost new HMAS Canberra and the HMAS Adelaide are impressive beasts. The Aussies also own 11 frigates, 0 destroyers,
Okay.
0
More frigates, you know, but we're in one category.
13 patrol craft, and 6 mine warfare ships. Another
Close in
thing,
mine
as you
warfare
all
as
know,
well.
the USA
You know, you
owns
take some
just less
Ws
than
when you
half
can.
of all the world's 15,000 nuclear weapons.
Wow.
Australia doesn't have any and doesn't seem interested in developing them. It
Fair
does,
enough, fair
however,
enough,
have
each to their
aircraft
own.
that could deliver them. In conclusion, these two countries have been strong allies for a very long time. If
Yep.
anything did happen to break that bond, America is far too powerful for Australia. The only chance Australia would have is that harsh environment its people are used to living in. Maybe all those dangerous creatures that inhabit the country would get on side. So, what do you think of
I love that. So basically, if I was you Australians, same as us Britons, don't mess with the US. We're all friends in here. We love you guys. And if it does turn to shit, you got to turn your spiders and snakes on them. Then poisonous spiders and snakes, you know, they can be a big thing. Them Americans might be scared of it, but pretty much, don't mess with America. And I imagine that's the same with Britain. There isn't a Britain video. I'd have done that if it was, and I imagine it's going to be pretty much the same. So let's just keep all three of us. Let's just all be nice allies, you know, allies. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. It seemed a pretty much pointless one. I didn't really know going in. I assumed United States, but after the first couple comparisons, you kind of just knew that United States would just, the amount of money, because of the amount of money they invest into it, we're just going to outdo not any country, most countries. There's a South Korea one there, which if you want me to check out, I will do, because they were saying that they were behind South Korea in some aspects. So that could be quite interesting, guys. If you want me to check that out, let me know in the comments. Let's try and hit 20 to 30 likes on this video, guys. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell if you're still here, by the way, guys, because if you guys are still here, I know you will hit that notification bell, because you're obviously willing to go through all my waffle. So hit that bell, guys. Put it to all, and you'll get notified every time I upload. I'd really appreciate it. Have a great day. Peace.